Okay, good evening. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all for joining us this evening, both here and at home. We'll start with the approval of the minutes, which is the 2.1, motion approving the minutes of the May 7th, 2025 minutes of the regular meeting of the town board. So do I have a motion? No. Thank you. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And is there any discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. Okay, there are no bid openings, but there is a public hearing this evening. So there's a public hearing on the establishment of the Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207 at 337 Sycamore Road, tax map number 158.06-1-28.111. Petitioner Murphy LLC. Okay, with that, I'm going to read the public notice, which is long. So, Town of Estill, Town Board, Broome County, New York. At a meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Estill, Broome County, New York, held in the municipal chambers in the Town Hall, 605 Vestal Parkway West, Vestal, New York, on the 23rd day of April 2025, there was present Maria Sexton, Sue Messina, Supervisor, Sue Messina, Councilperson, Glenn Miller, Councilperson, Robert Green, Councilperson. In the matter of the petition for the establishment of Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207 in the town of Vestal, Broome County, New York. And whereas, the order says, whereas written petition in the due form dated April 16th, 2025, and containing the required signatures have been presented to and filed by the town board of the town of Vestal, Broome County, New York, on April 25th, April 23rd, 2025, for the establishment of the extension of the Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207, and described as 337 Sycamore Road, Broome County, tax map number 158.06-1-28.111, Vestal, New York, property of Murphy LLC, and whereas the improvements proposed consist of the erection, construction, and maintenance of a water system to serve said district, including the necessary and incidental supplementary equipment and pertinences thereto more particularly more particularly set forth and described in certain map and plan made a part of the aforesaid petition and now on file in the office of the town clerk of this said town of Vestal. And whereas no expenses occasioned by the creation of said extension of said district according to said map and plan shall be levied and collected from the several lots and parcels of land within said extension of said district, and the expenses to be paid for in full by the petitioners signing the aforesaid petition filed on April 16th, 2025, requesting the formation of said Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207, and whereas the aforesaid improvements as set forth on the said map and plan will be constructed without cost or expenses as aforesaid, and will therefore be turned over to the said extension of district other than for maintenance, repairs, and operating expenses as may result subsequent thereto. Now it is hereby ordered that a meeting of the town board of the town of Vestal shall be held in the town hall, 605 Vestal Parkway West, Vestal, New York, on the 21st day of May 2025 at 6 p.m. to consider the petition and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same and for such other action on the part of the town board with relation to said petition as may be required by law or proper in the premises, and it is further ordered that the town clerk shall publish a certified copy of this order in the Binghamton Press and Sun Bulletin in its edition of May 7th, 2025, and it is further ordered that the town clerk shall post one copy of this order on the town clerk's bulletin board not less than 10 nor more than 20 days prior to the hearing date. With the signature of Maria Sexton, Supervisor, Sue Messina, Councilperson, Glenn Miller, Councilperson, Robert Green, Councilperson, being all of the members of the town board of the town of Vestal, Broome County, New York, present at the aforesaid meeting, dated March 7th, 2025. Okay, sorry, I don't speak legalese very well. Okay, so with that, we are going to open the public hearing. Do any members of the public wish to speak on this topic? Yes. Please come up to the podium, say your name. Really? Okay, no, this is this is a hearing for the establishment of the water district within Vestal. So not this one?
I guess not. Is
Okay.
there going to be another time later in the meeting?
Yes, there's two other times.
Okay, thank you.
I'll try to describe them so everybody knows. Thank you. Okay, so nobody to speak on the water district then? Okay, please. There's no talking within the meeting. If you need to talk, you can step outside and come back in. Thank you. So then we'll close the public hearing. And then we'll move on to the rest of the procedure, which is in regards to the seeker, the establishment of the Consolidated Water District Number 1, extension number 207 at 337 Sycamore Road, tax map number 158.06-1-28.111, based on a thorough review and examination of the known facts relating to the action and its careful review of all potentially adverse environmental impacts and the entire record and proceedings relating to the action as of the date of the adoption of this resolution, including but not limited to information included on the project's short environmental assessment form, parts 1, 2, and 3, information provided by the applicant, involved and interested agency input and public input, and board finds that the action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Okay, so with that, That satisfies-
A motion to accept the negative deck.
yep.
Second and vote on it.
Okay, I just want to make sure there wasn't anything else if we had to read the whole secret statement. Okay, so then, yeah, I need a motion approving a negative declaration as to the seeker as there are no large or significant environmental concerns identified with regard to this permit application.
So moved?
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. Is there any discussion on the matter? Okay, so we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you very much. So the water district is established, will be established.
Yes.
That's just the secret vote.
Oh, that's a secret vote.
Vote to it's a petition establishment.
Okay, let's go back to that.
It's
Thank you. Okay. So we don't. So we need, give me a second, let me write it. Okay, so we'll make it a resolution to establish the water district number 1, extension number 207 at 337 Sycamore Road, tax map number 158.06-1-28.111. Petitioner is Murphy LLC. So
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. Okay, then we go to supervisor updates. So some announcements. We received the notice from the judge for the litigation from the solar companies against the town of Estill, and we won the lawsuit, which allowed us to continue with the moratorium, expand our solar law, which we are in the final stages of at this time. So we are finalizing the new solar law. So the announcement is now on the town website, and the draft version, the latest draft version, is now on the website. And tonight or tomorrow, I will put it highlighted on the website so it's nice and easy to find. All the current provisions are in there. It will be tweaked a little bit more, but it will give you a good idea of how we're going to move forward. So please, we encourage all residents to take a look at it. The public hearing is scheduled for June 18th. It is a dedicated meeting for the discussion and adoption of the solar law. So also, we do encourage everybody to go to the new website. There's a lot more information. It is a lot more user-friendly. And also, if you would like, you can sign up for the app. It is free. You can go to the main website through the app, but you can also opt to receive notifications, and you choose what you would like to receive notifications for, and it could be town board meeting minutes, or it could be town business, or news and events, or recreation, or youth programs. There's all different choices there. All of it is free, and they go to push notification to your phone. If you opt in, you don't have to opt in for anything, and you can still use the app if you want. And with that, we also want to tell people that the Tom McCartney, our emergency manager, was wonderful in setting up a tabletop, which is a scenario-based training for all of our department heads that will be mobilized in time of emergency. All of the department heads took part in the process, and it was a great experience. They did a fantastic job, and we came away with a lot of suggestions on things that we can help to improve to get ready for the emergency. God forbid a major catastrophe happens, so that we can take care of our residents and we can respond as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and that we have everything in place so that we know what to do and that we can serve our residents the best that we can. So with that, we move to the privilege of the floor, which is that this is for agenda items only. Agenda items do not include, these are active resolutions that are going to be voted on. So they are not notations in the agenda or acceptance of documents. So with that, we do ask if somebody wants to speak on one of the resolutions to be voted on this evening, that you stand up to the podium, state your name and address. You wait to be recognized. You only speak during the designated public comment section. You state your name and address. Sorry. Speak at the podium. Speak for no more than 3 minutes. Only speak regarding town business. Be brief to the point. Address comments to the board only. And be respectful to all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. And in order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirety, then will be addressed by the board. We do remind everybody, there are no personal attacks here. We want to hear from you in terms of town business, your opinions, your thoughts, and how you want to move forward as a town. But personal attacks are never appropriate in a public meeting. Now, does anybody wish to speak on any of the agenda items to be voted on? Okay, there is a separate section at the end on other topics. So we will get to that. So thank you very much. So we don't have any resolutions or motions. And Sue, do you have anything on Public Works?
No report.
Thank you very much. But you do have it on finance, right?
Yes, more than enough for everybody.
Thank you.
Resolution for Rajat Saha, Town Comptroller to make a Highway Department budget transfer in the amount of $26,993 from the Highway Appropriated Fund balance to line H0523.25100. This is to cover the extra cost of the snow equipment for the two new tandem axle trucks.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. Do we have any discussion? Okay, so we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you.
9.2, sorry.
Sorry.
9.2, resolution for the town board to approve payment in the amount of $3,218 to Coughlin and Gerhart LLP for outside counsel fees for professional services rendered through April 30, 2025. The services are as follows: solar law.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And is there any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. And next one?
9.3, resolution for the town board to approve payment in the amount of $157.50 to Bond, Shonick and King PLLC for outside counsel fees for professional services rendered through April 30, 2025. The services are as follows: police matter.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And so any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. So, Sue, personnel?
Okay.
You sure? You want to break it up with me?
So I said there's more than enough.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Resolution for Patrick Harnan, Recreation Planner, to hire the following summer employees. All pay rates are budgeted and background checks have been completed. So start date June 7, 2025. Aubrey Baker, Vestal Playground Instructor, 1650. These are all 1650. Maverick Byrne, Vestal Playground Instructor. Ella Coleman, Vestal Playground Instructor. Haley Kelly, Appalachian Playground Instructor. Kara Malej, Vestal Playground Instructor. Ella McIntyre, Vestal Playground Instructor. Lawrence Morgan, Appalachian Playground Instructor. Olivia Morlando, Vestal Playground Instructor. Ava Parsons, Vestal Playground Instructor. Evelyn Ryan, Vestal Playground Instructor. Meredith Ryan, Vestal Playground Instructor. Jordan Shake, Appalachian Playground Instructor. Nathan Shake, Appalachian Playground Instructor. Timothy Smith, Vestal Playground Instructor. Leo Stockwin, Appalachian Playground Instructor. Abigail Wickman, Vestal Playground Instructor. Emily Wickman, Vestal Playground Instructor. Eric Jason Yoyuba, Vestal Playground Instructor. Owen Goncalves, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. Caitlin Gao, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. Kylie Hannon, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. Alex Kaminsky, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. James Kaminsky, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. Joseph Valone, Vestal Substitute Playground Instructor. And then start date May 29, 2025 for our labor lifeguards. Daniel Allen, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Ananta Banerjee, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Alexander Byerworth, Endicott Lifeguard, $18. Andrew Bellotta, Endicott Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. William Butler, Endicott Lifeguard, $18. Charlotte Coker, Appalachian Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Kira Devantier, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Celia Durham, Endicott Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Jack Golden, Endicott Lifeguard, $18. Isabel Goncalves, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Owen Goncalves, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Gavin Hant, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Benjamin Hutchings, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Finian Hines, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Marina Iasub, Appalachian Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Megan Jones, Vestal Lifeguard, Swim Instructor, $19. Canyon Kalina, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Jaden Kim, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Patrick Neer, Endwell Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Olivia McPeak, Binghamton Lifeguard, $18. Ava Miza, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Max Mitsakis, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Nicholas Misakos, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor at $19. Larry Morse, Endicott Lifeguard Swim Instructor at $19. Caitlin Aranu, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Ian Perry, Johnson City Lifeguard, $18. Ava Peters, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Jackson J. Ratiri, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor at $19. Natalie Ryan, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Cameron Smith, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Luke Sobel, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Mary Sonnen, Vestal Lifeguard Swim Instructor, $19. Dylan Sturrock, Johnson City Lifeguard, $18. Francesca Vallone, Vestal Lifeguard, $18. Evan Webb, Appalachian Lifeguard, $18 per hour.
Thank you. Okay, with that, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And any discussion?
I just want to make note for clarity that all these numbers quoted are pay rate per hour.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? No. Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. And Robert, planning and zoning?
11.1, resolution for the town board to approve waiving the bidding process due to the Echo Road culvert embankment failure being determined an emergency. This condition has occurred to the embankment along Echo Road and over a 36-inch diameter culvert. The contractor has presented a quote of $50,000 and has provided the proper insurance required by the town.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Sue. And is there any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried.
11.2, resolution for the town board to determine the condition that exists at the town hall regarding asbestos, an emergency, and to approve waiving the bidding process for the town hall asbestos assessment project.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have any discussion? Okay, so we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Okay.
And I just want to note for those joining us today, we had a full discussion in the work session about the reasons why there were exigent circumstances in both of those cases. So the board evaluated the particulars. Okay, I'm sorry. Move on to 11.3.
11.3, resolution to amend and clarify the membership on the solar committee as follows. The solar committee shall be comprised of 3 individuals: Town Supervisor Maria Sexton, Deputy Town Supervisor Suzanne Messina, and Town Attorney Daniel Reynolds.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second,
Thank you, Sue. So do we have any discussion? Okay, thank you. So all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And it's carried.
11.4, resolution to accept lead agency status for proposed local law D of 2025, solar energy systems.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second,
Thank you, Sue. So do we have any discussion? Okay, with that, we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. And next one?
11.5, resolution to refer proposed local law D of 2025, solar energy systems for 239 review.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
so moved.
Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And do we have any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried.
11.6, resolution to advertise on June 6, 2025 for a public hearing to be held on June 18th, 2025 regarding proposed local law D of 2025 solar energy systems.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And is there any discussion? Okay, thank you. So we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and it's carried.
11.7, resolution authorizing the town board to accept for filing the report of the solar committee.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
Should ask for discussion. Was there any discussion?
No discussion.
Okay, so we all voted. Everybody good? Any opposed? Thank you.
11.8,
Sorry about that.
resolution to abandon the eastern section of Prentice Road in the town of Estill to adjacent property owners. Town does not currently maintain and has not maintained this section of the road for quite some time.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn, and seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, thank you. And so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. Okay, and just for the members of the public, those are all the particulars involved in moving towards the enactment of the new solar law. So thank you. And Sue, public safety?
Okay, resolution for the town board to approve college tuition reimbursement for Officer Katie Ray Palmer. The total cost of reimbursement being requested is $872.98, which is for tuition, fees, and textbooks. This should be reimbursed out of the police department's college tuition line, A3104033, which has been budgeted for the 2025 fiscal year.
Thank you. So we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. Is there any discussion? Okay, so we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. And Robert?
13.1, resolution authorizing Matthews Auto to hold their annual walkathon from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, October 4th, 2025 at the Rail Trail. The walkathon is held to raise money for local children's charities. If approved, a license agreement for use of town property will be signed and insurance requirements for the event will be verified.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And is there any discussion? Okay, thank you. And so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and it's carried. Okay, Sue?
Receive and file warrants 2025 18G, 18C, 18M, 18T, 2025 18G, 2025 0501, 19A, 19C, 19M, 19T, 20G, 20C, 20M, 20T. These are our town bills that have been paid. Supervisors reports January, February, March, and April 2025. Letters of support regarding the town assessor, and that is it.
Thank you. So petitions and protests, we don't have any. Old business, we also don't have any. We do have new business. So 16.1 is a resolution that the town board recognizes the audit process for the New York State Unified Court System is complete and authorizes the town controller to submit the reports to New York State. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Sue. I think you edged him out. And so any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Okay, so I have some announcements, general announcements. Registration is now open for the Recreation Department summer camps. For more information, please go to vestalrecreation.com. And as you heard in the meeting, there's a lot of things going on in the summer. So if you have kids and you're interested, please look on their website. There's a ton to choose from. 2025 is Vestal Festival. Will be held on Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Front Street. There will be approximately 150 50 local vendors, food trucks, a children's area with games, activities, and entertainment. At 11 a.m., a 25-year-old time capsule will be opened at Memorial Park by the gazebo. So please join us for that event. It's yearly, but it's just got a new name this year. And I want to thank Patrick, Kelsey, and Dulcie for dealing with the vendors, setting everything up, and making all the arrangements this year. The Vestal Memorial Pool will be open for the season on Saturday, June 6th, which is right around the corner. The Vestal Police Youth Academy will be held on Monday through Friday, July 7th through the 11th for middle school students and July 14th to 25th for high school students. For an application, please contact SRO Tukin at mtukin@vestalny.gov or call 607-221-5493. All school districts are welcome. Regarding mowing of one's lawn, the code requires that grass be kept under 10 inches. Also, if residents would check on their neighbors if there is a tall grass issue, oftentimes the property owner may be elderly, have a medical issue, or maybe their mower is broken. Please check and see if their neighbor needs some help. Brush pickup is starting. Thank you to all our highway department personnel. May through September. Beginning Monday of the first week of the month, the highway department will have 2 teams collecting brush. So they start the first Monday and they work their way around the town. So please have it ready on that first day in case they get to you first. And that will be monthly proceeding through the season. So the special public hearing to be held on June 18th. There will be a special public hearing to be held on June 18th, 2025 regarding proposed local law D of 2025, solar energy systems, which will be our new solar law. So with that, committee chair and comments. Does any member of the board wish to speak about their particular committee?
Okay, public safety, police have been conducting safety exercises. The fire department was scheduled to run a blood drive today, which is being rescheduled, and emergency services has no information.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to the last public comment section, which is about any topic on town business. Once again, I remind everybody, this is not personal. This is about town business. We just ask everybody to be respectful of everybody in the room, every public official, and every town employee and every resident as well. So just a reminder, we will take residents before non-residents, but everybody will be heard if they choose to be heard. Speakers will speak in entirely, then will be addressed by the board. We ask you to go to the podium, state your name and address, wait to be recognized, and only speak during your designated public, state your name, I skipped ahead. Okay, speak for no more than 3 minutes, only speak regarding town business, be brief and to the point, and address comments to the board only. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so any member of the public wish to speak on town business? Sorry. Sir?
My name's Rob Hines. I live at 181 Pierce Hill Road in Vestal. It's my understanding that Assessor Manoya's position is up for review, and I've come here as a professional to offer my support. I've been a real estate appraiser, commercial real estate appraiser for about 30 years. And over that period, I've known Mark almost for the whole time. I found him to be extremely professional, very confident, and one of the best choices for an assessor, especially for the town of Vestal. I think we're in good hands with him, and very succinctly, my recommendation is that you guys strongly consider keeping him on board. There are very few better assessors in the region, and I've run across most of them. And it's a decent concern of mine that we have an articulate, approachable assessor for the town that can handle its complex issues.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak? Yes.
Hi, my name is Kay Holly, 907 South Jensen. I have two concerns about Jensen Road. One you've sort of addressed a bit, and the first one I'd like to talk about is this proposed solar farm that may or may not go up there. It's almost across the street from where we live. We've already been bombarded by all the trucks and problems with Bun Hill, with Jensen, and now I just can't imagine going through a solar thing. Also, the area is wooded, and I had a question about your policy with regards to a wooded area. I've heard that solar farms should only go in where the trees are already down, where it's farmland or some other flat land. There's also a question about the pond. There's a beaver pond right on the road where that would be. So I'm kind of interested in, your thoughts about this, but I realize you're going to be having meetings about this in the future. Where do you stand on this?
Okay. Is that what we're trying to do everything in group now? So do you have any other further questions before I answer you?
Okay, I have one more slight concern.
Mhm.
There's a property for sale on Jensen, 840, I believe it is. It's 50 acres. And according to the ad, it says you can buy it and use it commercially. And
Really?
so far as I'm concerned, I thought that area was, and I tried to research it as best I could, that area was rural residential. And, I'm concerned that somebody might buy it. It is 50 acres and do something else up there.
Okay. That's the 50 acres up for sale.
Yeah.
I know which, yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I answer you?
Nope.
Okay.
Can
Thank
I
you.
just ask a question? Kay, where is that? Property?
It's next to the Bun Hill Cemetery.
Next to the Bun Hill Cemetery?
Yes,
To the downhill or up the hill?
up the hill.
Oh, yeah, I think that's rural residential. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we will note the property. Thank you very much. And double check that, first of all. And again, please, no discussions during the meeting. But I understand that people need to talk, but if you need to talk, please step outside to have your conversation and come back in and join us afterwards. Thank you. So the solar farms. So the solar law is on the website right now. The announcement has been made as the hearing date is June 18th. But the draft proposition, local law, and the committee report are both available for the public right now. Oh, wait a minute. Did we put the committee report on there?
It should be on there.
Okay, very good. If not, we'll make sure that it is. So the committee report is the solar committee was subcommittee of the town committee. We did our research and then consulting our experts, which are Lincoln, who's code, and Vern, town engineering. So we consulted with them. We got the input of specialized solar attorneys, and we went over the solar law and all the particulars involved. This has been a long road in this process from January 2024 until now. We won the litigation against the solar companies because we were able to show from last January, we began speaking about it, trying to address the issue. And just to remind everybody, we went into a moratorium, not just to go into a moratorium, but because we ran into New York State tax law 457, that if we did not act, then commercial solar farms would be not taxed for 15 years. So that was not acceptable to us. But we had the right to opt out of it, which we did. So we took the time to look at all the solar laws in the surrounding towns. We consulted with literally experts in the field. We talked among ourselves. We talked to our experts in-house as well. And we listened to every resident and everybody who spoke at the meetings. We went back over the minutes. We are able to prove that we have been working literally right up until now to try to make the solar law what we need as a community. And that's exactly what we did. So we're now coming to the final phase. We're soon to be coming out of the moratorium. We opted out of 457, and what was it? 487, I'm sorry. And so any solar commercial facilities will be taxed. And so it will help benefit the community. I can give you an outline in a nutshell, but I do encourage you to read it. I do want to note that there are a couple adjustments that we're still finalizing in it. So this is a draft only, but what is available on the website, and I'll make a little bit more clear on the website as well, is basically outlines that solar will be available in every area of Vestal, but in appropriate ways, in appropriate places. So in residential areas, solar will be for residential use. So what we currently have is rooftop solar panels and side panels, but for residential use only. So, but we have many areas of Vestal that are open and very conducive to commercial solar. So our business areas and our industrial areas will be open for more commercial solar. In fact, we are encouraging them to expand the use of solar in those areas. From the get-go, we have said that our residents are our priority, but we want to grow as a community, but we want to grow in a way that is appropriate and respectful of all of our residents. And that is what we will be doing. So I hope that clarifies, and you can stay afterwards if you have a further question. Does anybody else wish to speak? Yes.
Bill Stewart, Gardner Road. Just want to read something here. This was a post that was made. Vestal assessments. Vestal residents who receive a property reassessment letter from the town of Vestal recently, if you are unhappy with the continual increases in assessments and would like to see the town get a different assessor, please like and reply with your street name and number. Also, feel free to send a message to Councilman Glenn Miller at gmiller@vestalnewyork.gov. The town is considering replacing the current assessor and would like to get a feel for the resident support for the change. Please, no personal attacks. Just the facts. Was this a board decision? Did you guys decide to go online and get personal opinions? Also, Mr. Miller, can you explain to me why, how high assessments are bad and how they relate to taxes? I'd just like to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll speak to myself, and Councilman Miller can speak as well. Just so that you know, I always ask for residents' opinions on every topic. I want to hear from everybody from all different viewpoints. I appreciate people coming in with their personal opinions, professional and personal. And obviously we try to represent our residents, but we respect our businesses as well. So we want to hear from everybody. So I know that every board member receives emails all the time on different topics. We listen to everybody. So we do appreciate it. We do encourage people to continue doing that, because I want you to know that you're being heard and everything is being considered when we have our own discussions. Okay? And Glenn, if you want to say something?
So the intent of that was to obviously inform the public of what was going on, which is their right to know, but also gives me the opportunity to explain to them and let them understand that raising their assessment does not directly relate to raising their taxes. I do my best to explain to them that the tax levy is a number that is determined by the board when we go through our budget process. The assessment only determines your piece of that pie when it comes to the taxes we need to collect. Whether the assessment's high or the assessments are lower, there's a multiplier factor that gets adjusted so that you charge your tax rate based on, yes, the assessment, but also the multiplier. So an assessment goes up if the tax revenue that we need stays the same, the multiplier goes down. So your slice of the pie of what gets paid for in taxes for the town remains the same. Raising an assessment does not directly relate to raising taxes. I think that's a misconception people have. And I did want to hear not just their opinion on the assessments and how their feelings on it, which I think is their right to give to us, but I also wanted a chance to explain to them that a raise of assessment value has other negative effects, but it does not directly affect their taxes to the town. The taxes we need are the taxes we need. So that's basically it.
Okay, thank you. Sir, did you want to speak?
Oscar Perkins, Hogan Road. Would I be correct in assuming that the large share of the town budget comes from real estate taxes? Would you agree to that?
It's not a back and forth, but please continue on. I
That
try to know
the
the-
greatest share, a large share, 90% or better of the revenue that you get for the town budget comes from real estate taxes. Would that be correct? Buildings, houses, land?
Sir, once again, we're going to answer you
Yeah.
at the end, I promise.
My point in this is the assessor driving this problem, or is the town's need for money driving the assessor to make a 3.5% raise in his rate? I assume if the assessor was a greedy guy, he'd try to get all he could to make the town real happy. But I think that what has happened here is that as the town grows, they need more money, they need more trucks, they need more facilities. And that creates the need for money, and the best place for you to look for it is to raise assessment for the people that live in the town, which would benefit from it. I don't necessarily have a problem with the method that you use. I have a problem with the person that gets blamed with the problem. And if you change assessors because you need a scapegoat so that people won't be pissed off at the town, I guess I can understand both sides of that question. That's my only statement. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, nobody will be a scapegoat for anything. And I believe everybody wants fair assessments, period. Because no matter what the assessment level, whether it be 50% or 100%, as Councilman Miller said, it's a piece of the same pie. So it just needs to be fair wherever it is, at 100% or any their portion of. So with that, does any other member of the public wish to speak? Ma'am?
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Gail Radinger. I live at 405 Meeker Road. And we've lived there for about 9 years. And we moved from New Jersey, which has notably the highest real estate taxes and assessment in the country, except they haven't seen Vestal. So my concern is that I've seen in the last 5 years, our real estate assessments and taxes continue to go up and go up past the rate that my salary goes up, go past the rate of what other towns in Broome County seem to be experiencing. And on a personal level, I understand the slice of the pie, but I also understand where I live. I don't have city water. I don't have garbage pickup. When you pave the road, you stop halfway up Holly Hill and put cinder. So I don't see necessarily the benefit that my neighbors and I are getting. So talk about a fair slice of the pie. Is it fair that if we don't have city available and we don't have some of the other benefits that other people in Vestal have available, we are still getting assessed and taxed at the same rate? I don't know how the city does it. This is my first town hall meeting, so if this is very ignorant, I'm sorry. I'm just very concerned that year after year, my tax, I guess it doesn't like what I'm saying, to a point where my tax bill is is like paying another half of a mortgage. I've never seen this. I'm from North Jersey, that, as you know, Bergen County is legendary for high property taxes. I've never seen anything like this. I just want to understand it. And even more than that, I'd like my tax bill to level off. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And I do appreciate everybody being involved. There's no not knowing, there's only asking questions. That's always a good thing. So thank you. Assessments aren't everything. The budget is a secondary thing to how much people taxes, right? That's the main driving force. So this year, we've been moving towards it, but this year we will have a complete breakdown of, we have a new comptroller and we're on board with with the premise. All of our department heads have always detailed basically what they're spending money on, but it hasn't always been available to the public. So this year, when we draft our budget and that conversation, and it is a public conversation, are always public meetings, so people are welcome to come and join us. But all of the notes that our department heads put about what the money is being spent on, that they normally give to us, will be available to the public as well, so that you will understand the budget the same way that we understand the budget. And that is the only fair and real way that we can decide what is a priority moving forward. Unfortunately, we are an expensive town, partially because of our size. We are 52 square miles. And there are definitely things that we can consider, and we will listen to residents now and through budget time and going forward about what you want to change to try to make it cost efficient. Our town personnel work really, really hard, and they really do a lot of work. There is no question about that. So how do we move forward in a more cost-efficient way? Well, that's a conversation that we need to have, because I see our town personnel doing the right thing, and things, unfortunately, prices don't go up, they go down. And to give you a taste of it, as a municipality, last year we got hit with 300,000 in unexpected costs due to our Medicare prescription coverages. $300,000 not planned for. Well, all of our department heads came together. They all buckled down and they all cut back, not in services, not in salaries, but they cut back in their budgets without reducing services to anybody. And they cut waste. And they kept their budgets the same way that they were last year, despite inflation, despite salary increases, despite the mandatories, so that we could hit that 300,000 mark and stay under the tax cap for the town. And they worked really, I see how hard they work and how conscientious they are on a day-to-day basis. And in fact, I believe four different departments came in with a lower budget for this year than in the prior year. So they even reduced their budget even further. And I know many of our departments, our highway department worked to get $250,000 in funding in a grant. Our police department, our police chief works consistently and gets numerous grants. And if you look through the town meetings, they work really hard. I, along with our HR person and one of the police lieutenants who helped us out and reviewed and gave us feedback, we put in for 2 grants this year too. We all pitch in and we all work, but we want to hear your input and your ideas as well. So the only way you can help us to do better is if we tell you what's going on. So we're going to try to do that this year more. But costs go up. We were able to pay that $300,000 that we were required to pay because our personnel looked at their own budgets, went through it, and were able to keep at or below the previous year's expenditures. And that's including everything, the price of everything went up. Software went up double digits. I mean, I went through it all at budget time. It's crazy. And we will continue to work to do the best that we can. But we encourage people to come to those public meetings to see what we have in front of us and to help us with that process. So it is not just the assessments, it is the budget as well, which we will continue to work on also. So,
Okay, Maria?
yeah.
If I may add, so it sounded like you're relatively new into the area, and we used to have, well, we do have an emergency response district, EMS. They were self-funded for a long time by the calls they went on from the Medicare, Medicaid, hospitals. That funding declined to a point where they could not continue if we did not make them a special district and start adding them to our tax burden for the town. So the town had, there was the choice was bring them on into the town taxes or let them just be eliminated completely. And we decided as a board that the town is better off having a local emergency response team for ambulance, for when people get hurt, above and beyond what fire would do. So we decided to keep them. It became part of the funding for the town. That did shift our tax burden a little higher than we would have liked.
No, yeah, can I just clarify though? Those are not your general town taxes. So EMS became a separate taxing district, and it was the difference about whether they would exist or not. They submitted their budget to us. We went over their budget, and they are amazingly cost efficient. It's just the numbers are crazy to out, and they explained to us, and they gave us the costs of how, you know, it's like $200,000 just for an ambulance with nothing in it. And that does not include the medical equipment. That does not include anything. Over 50 of their EMS personnel are volunteers. Everybody, including every supervisor, is a volunteer, with the exception of paramedics who have unbelievable amounts of training and they just can't get volunteers to be able to do it. So the paramedics are paid. Everybody else is a volunteer. It's really just the cost of the equipment and the services that go into that taxing district. So every resident had to observe it. However, I was talking about the general town budget, which we're able to keep as low as possible. But we are very conscious of the real cost to each of our residents all the time. We pay our taxes, but we know that there are many of our residents that are on the brink all the time. And, we went through the process also cooperatively with the assessors to expand the senior exemption for the people who really don't have very much money, so that they can minimize their taxes as much as possible to make more people qualify, because some had even lost their benefits because of the COLA increases of Social Security. We are always conscious of the real cost for our people, and we will be as clear and as transparent as, and I hate to use that term because it becomes so cliche, but so as real and as open to you as possible so that you can help us with this process, because we want to hear from you too. We're looking for cost savings. Our people are up for it, but we still have to provide services, and our residents expect it and they deserve it. And our town personnel work really, really hard all the time to do all the things that are necessary to make this town run. Nobody's not doing anything, but I hope that the public this year becomes much more of the conversation in a good way, because we want to continue to move forward in the best way that we can. So, sir, you were waiting. I'm sorry.
I'd like to add
Oh,
real
I
quick, sorry,
apologize. Robert.
to be better informed
Mhm.
about your taxes. There's a site called taxlookup.net. You go to our county, you go to look up your address by, name, use your address, etc. In there, you have the breakdown of the districts you're paying taxes on. So I recommend looking at the last 5 years and see how each one has changed.
When I look at it, I'm not here to make a fuss. I'd like to see transparency in our budget. I'd also like to say I've been in this house for 9 years. I've seen all these tax increases. I've also seen a lot more businesses on Vestal Parkway. And at least where I've seen budgets before, I've seen that as businesses grow in your area, sometimes residents actually get a little bit of a break because you have more revenue coming in. People from other areas in Broome County are coming and shopping at these places. And so the revenue from the businesses hopefully is offsetting some of the taxes that the residents are paying. I'm not
Okay.
looking to get rid of exemptions for people who are on the brink, anything else. I just feel that transparency in the budget is very important. I also feel that, well, you're telling me it's 52 square miles in Vestal. If you look at Binghamton, if you look at Johnson City, if you look at all these other areas, their tax rates are much, much lower for the same assessed property. That's all I'm trying to understand, why it's so different here.
Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap it. I took it as a follow-up point, so thank you. We do want to keep it within one group if at all possible. I'm sorry for the wait, sir. Go ahead.
I didn't realize I was going to be talking about a hot topic here. My name is Wayne Klausner. I live at 102 Brown Road. I have two major with the town assessors. The two people that work there couldn't be nicer people. Obviously, they get their direction from somebody, I'm assuming the board. But one time when we got flooded out, they took it upon themselves, I think, maybe the board had to agree to it. They lowered my tax rate for, I think it was a period of 7 years. So we had a chance to get back into our homes. Awesome people, awesome program. The latest thing was I tried to get the star on a new house, not a new house, but I took over my parents' place. The state told me I couldn't do it because I had to sell my previous home before I was eligible. I went down to the assessor, talked to the two people. My wife and I went in the back room. We sat there. We could have had coffee. You know, that's how nice those two people are. They explained to me the state gave me the runaround. It had nothing to do with having two properties, but I've since sold it. I went down there to get them to help me with the STAR program, which they did. So I just basically came here to say they're great people and they have a thankless job. So that's all I really wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, ma'am?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So today I'm here, by the way, I'm a Vestal resident and I do own and operate few businesses here in this town and elsewhere in New York and also in other states as well. So I'm here to express my concerns about some of the changes that are happening in the town. And here I would like to mention about our town assessor, Mr. Minoya, who I find to be one of the best and the finest assessor. So having dealt with so many assessors elsewhere, I can definitely say he is the best. And as a business owner, I'm also speaking on behalf of other small business owners who are very concerned. One, we are very unhappy with the state of economy right now. It is getting to be very difficult to attract any new businesses to this town. I know there are a few people who spoke and they agree with me. And we do not need changes at this time. Changes are not good for businesses or for the town. And I would really like the board to reconsider appointing Mr. Minoya so we can attract more businesses and make this community better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Yes.
Congratulations on winning the solar moratorium lawsuit that was brought against the town of Vestal, and you had to defend on it. And I don't think people know all the hard work and research that's been going on for that, but I appreciate that and I admire that and I'm impressed with that. And you listen to the residents, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, would anybody else like to speak? Yes.
Hi, folks. Hi, John Fletcher, 73 Andrews Road here in Vestal. Two quick topics. Number one, town tax assessor. I'm very supportive of the work that Mark does, as well as Colleen. As was stated, they do have a thankless job. And I think one of the main issues that we currently have is people do not understand their assessments, the methodology of the assessments, the differences with equalization and the state recommending 100%, which Vestal has now had for, I believe, 17 years, golden standard. And the other thing, I don't think people understand that if we bring somebody new in who tanks our assessments, that's not going to help you during your budget sessions. You're going to have to come up with other ways to potentially cover that lost income. So, based on Mark's certifications, his 40 years of experience, I fully support he and Colleen remaining in there. Colleen with over 34 years of experience. They are the best duo in Central New York. And I think it's an honor that Vestal has them on our team. I don't like seeing my assessment go up either, but I also understand that it spreads the burden across the entire municipality. And we have a process in place if you're not happy with where your assessment currently sits. The last thing on the assessment, Glenn, unfortunately, the optics of that post outside of what your intentions were was disastrous. I think it reflected basically putting Mark and Colleen on the spot publicly. And I don't think that's the direction the board wants to go. The other question I have, well, that's really statements. The question I have is with regards to low-income housing. We've talked about the placement of solar. We've talked about the placement of the Bun Hill project. I'm not necessarily worried about where low-income housing would go. My main concern is financially, what would that do to this town? I knew when I was on the board, we were at approximately a valuation of $3 billion as a town. I anticipate that has probably grown. We're probably in the 3.2, 3.3 billion range. If we lose 100% equalization and we meet state requirements of what our financials need to be in order to qualify for some of these grants, I would not want to be a part of your budget session. I don't know where you would get the money from. With regards to the low-income housing, so here's my questions. And if I need to put these in an email so that you have more time to think about them, that's fine. What are the benefits that the town perceives they're going to gain from low-income housing? We've talked ad nauseum about a comprehensive plan. I'd like to see if there were any references in that comprehensive plan to low-income housing being the vision for Vestal. I'm almost done.
You just want to wrap it up. Sorry.
And I understand that there's filings, application filings that have to take place with the state for this. I'm wondering if those filings have been completed. I assume they have since a resolution was passed. And if so, is it possible for me to foil those to be able to get a copy?
Okay,
Oh,
So-
and congratulations on the solar, and the website looks great.
thank you. Still a work in progress. So the two topics, first of all, just a reminder that whatever level the assessment is, the taxes are based on the budget. So you don't, if the assessments drop, we still have that number that we have to collect. So whether the assessments are at 85% or 100%, I hate to tell you, your taxes are going to be based on the proportion of the taxes that have to be allocated. So you're not going to actually lose income per se. So I'm not against 100% assessments. I just believe assessments should be fair, fairly distributed. So the second thing was about the low income housing. So let me reiterate, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So we are growing and we are expanding. And even though we don't have a written comprehensive plan and we have a comprehensive plan committee that's ready to start, but we couldn't get the funding for them quite yet. And they will be working on it. We will be developing a comprehensive plan that allows Vestal to develop in appropriate ways for our community. And that means appropriate things in appropriate places. We want to expand, we want to grow. Currently, there are 4 different housing projects on the table. They are all middle and luxury housing. So there is no prospect of low income housing. And I believe that you're referring to the pro housing resolution. So we educated ourselves on it. We talked to other towns, but we basically you check every particular involved in everything, right? So the state's agenda is to ensure that there is adequate housing for everybody. And since there is a shortage of housing, they want to ensure that there's a lot of pressure for municipalities to develop housing. Well, the good thing is we're doing it on our own. And therefore, because we're doing it and we're growing in a way that is the best fit for our community, that we will continue to do so. We meet their criteria above and beyond. And from all the new proposals that are coming to the town, we will continue to do that. We also have an out. So if they ever try to come back and say, well, you must start doing this, we can pull out of the program, and we will. We will grow as a community in the way that our residents expect. They moved here, bless you, for a safe community of good people. And there are good people of all types within our community. There are people of lower income that work really hard, came here, struggle, and they put their kids in Vestal schools because they are the best. We have great schools. We have a great police department. We are a safe community that people want to come to. That's why our housing prices stay high, is because people want to move here. We will continue to make that a priority. We will this year again, and the solar committee says that they will help us to do it. They will be involved with a grant writer this year to reapply for a grant so we can put everything on paper on what we want going forward. Until the time that we have everything in writing, and that would be a couple of years, but the process will begin. The town board in every decision will keep in mind what is right for this community. We will not be pressured to do things that are not right for us. We understand our residents sacrifice a lot and pay high taxes to live here. We understand that they want a safe community. All of our town personnel work to give them services to make them safe. Our EMS, mostly volunteers, our fire department, all volunteers. Everybody steps up and everybody works together. And we have a vision for Vestal. We just need to get that on paper so that we can make sure that that vision continues forever. So until the time that we have it in writing, every decision that we make, whether it be for solar or for housing, will make sure that it is what our residents want. So we will continue to do that. And we started that with the solar law. And we will continue that with the housing. We are growing very healthily well within where they would even begin to look at us. But we are growing in a way that fits in with our community. And it is a type of housing that is very amenable to the area. So as long as we do that, we will continue moving forward. But we would like to work for a comprehensive plan to get everything in writing so that nobody can come in later and do something different. So we do appreciate everybody's input, everybody's emails, and everybody coming to the meetings and having a voice, because we do listen and we do try to gauge how people feel. And the only way that we can do that is if we hear from people. So please never be afraid to email us, call us, contact us. You can set up meetings with the town council members as well. So does any other member of the public wish to speak? Yes.
I'm Andrew Schuman, 233 Shubma Road in Vestal. I wanted to ask about the assessments in relation to the school budget. Is there a correlation between the school budget on the assessments and of course, they just got their budget approved last night for 7.16%. What is, and with the assessments have gone up, I assume for everyone in this room, for probably about 5%, if I believe that's correct. Would that mean that the school budget would be getting more than 7.16%? And I don't know what the town contributes toward. I mean, I'm green on this, so I'd like to know that. And there are several letters, unfortunately, not in favor of resuming with Mr. Manoia that I believe the town already has that you might want to address at a different time. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, like I said, we have a lot of emails in regards with different opinions, but we value everybody who puts it forward, and the board will consider everybody's opinion. The school budget, we have nothing to do with how much it costs you. But the assessor, and somebody had said, and you're absolutely correct, it is a thankless job, that they determine how much the property is worth, and then the tax levy is divided up depending upon the value of your house. So somebody whose house is worth less is going to pay a smaller percentage of that tax. Somebody whose house is worth more is going to pay a larger percentage. And somebody had pointed out the businesses in the area. Yes, they help to defer our taxes. They pay both property taxes, which contribute to the town. They also contribute to school taxes, although at I believe a different percentage, but they contribute as well, and they help to defer the taxes of the residents. And when you start to look at, I hope people take the time to look at the budget this year, and you will see the breakdown. And we hope for your feedback and for your input this year. But there's a lot of things that we can't control in terms of the costs of a municipality. We will do our best and we will listen to everybody. But for the school budget, the assessments that are set by the town assessor do determine, like they do with the town taxes, how the school taxes are portioned out. The level of the school taxes is on the school district, and that you have to go to their meetings and talk to them about. But we are responsible for our own budget, and please talk to us about ours. But it is divvied out in the same way based on the assessments. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. Would anybody else like to speak? Sir?
Yeah, my name is Scott Naslow. I live at 3413 Linwood Place. And I heard a lot about fairness here. I know I can't ask questions, but my statement is where I live, I have a creek in my backyard that the town has an easement on. When I moved there 30 years ago, that creek was a couple feet wide. That creek now is huge because it takes the runoff. The more you allow development in the parkway and above us, we take more water. But yet my home is being assessed and it keeps going up. and the value of it is not in parity by any means. And my house, if it was on Lyndhurst, yes. Linwood, no. So I heard somebody make a statement about being flooded. I've been flooded twice, and they got a break on taxes. How do I do that? Something has to happen because my home, the value is not there. I like my home being worth a lot and I'll pay the taxes, but how do I sell my home in an area that has these issues someday? The only thing that would help me is if my taxes were low, I'm going to be more attractive because I want to sell and get out of here soon.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. You say fair, it's not fair. And somebody from this town has to come there and do something because we're taking the brunt of the weather. Just when it rains, you know what it's like to have anxiety that your house we get water. We shouldn't get water. I put in backflow preventers. I put in sump pumps. I did mitigation, and it's still always there. But yet we have to take that. So why are my taxes in proportion to somebody else that doesn't have that issue?
Yeah.
It's upsetting. I'm sad and I'm trying to be good here, but
No, I appreciate
not
that.
good.
Yeah. Do you want to make any more statement? Because I want to address you.
No, I'll stop there.
Okay, but I appreciate it. And let me encourage you and all our residents that we have two ways that any resident, because understand too, the assessors kind of are
Because I tried back a long time ago and it wasn't a fun experience. I know people here are saying great things. It's not fun to go there and try to get your taxes reduced unless you spend a lot of money, come with lawyers and different things.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I can say that there are two procedures. There are two this time of year, and in fact, the deadline is May 27th. If anybody wishes to have their house assessment considered, there is the Board of Assessment review, and they will start to meet in May and on. I think they start on the 27th and they go into June. And you file a paper and you bring your evidence, whatever that is. And then you go and there are members of the board and you speak to them and you ask them to reconsider and look at your assessment again. It is a hard job because remember how many houses we have,
Yes.
In Vestal. So that gives them the time to look at it. That's one method. This is in-house methods. The second method is any other time of the year. This is their busy time of the year, so just not this time of year.
Yes.
But I think beginning in like September, you can call up the assessor's office and make an appointment and go in. And I think Colleen does most of the one-on-one things. She will go over everything about your particular assessment. She will look at pictures. They will even, if you invite them to, they said that they will go.
I'd like them to come to my property.
They said that they would if you invite them. They can't go on their own.
No.
But they will go to your property if you invite them to go and to take a look at it and see if they can adjust it, if it's appropriate to adjust it.
Mhm.
But I want to tell you, Colleen is very good and she will talk to you and she will explain everything to you. I have yet to find a person who walked away and said that she did not answer their questions. She did not explain it thoroughly enough. And we all
It
understand.
was years ago. It was
Yeah.
5 years ago. So it was,
Yeah. So I do encourage those two things.
Okay.
It can't hurt. It can only help. And you do have other options afterwards. You don't give up any rights if you do those two things. Once again, it is impossible for any assessor to have that many parcels that this town does and to be aware of everything. So
Understood, yeah.
it's always good to get a fresh eye and to put it forward.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay. Sir?
I'm Joe Cook. I'm 312 Foster Road. I submitted a letter and I didn't think I was going to be here to read it, but I am. So I guess I'll just read it rather than just speak off the cuff. It pretty much contains my thoughts and I wanted to support the assessor's office because I think they do an excellent job. But so So the letter goes, in review of the town board agenda posted for the meeting to be held May 7th, 2025, I was surprised to see that a motion was proposed to advertise and recruit candidates for the assessor's position. At the board meeting May 7th, I was pleased to see Mr. Miller thoughtfully recommended tabling the decision, and the board agreed to reconsider that. And I think that was wise because it's an important job for the town. As a town resident and the president of the Broome County Assessors Association, I'm writing as a concerned resident and as a professional in the assessment community. As a resident, I've had several conversations about property assessments with Mr. Manoia and his deputy assessor, Mrs. Zub. The encounters have always been professional and informative. I am proud that Vestal has maintained an equalization rate of 100%. When I look at my neighbor's assessment, there are clear distinctions that the assessed values that are the assessed value that are logical and market based. And that's not necessarily true in the fractional assessment towns. I have assessed in a couple different towns, and I find I have a lot more problems with equity than the town of Vestal does. So consistent assessment is not always clear in towns with fractional assessment. When I look at historic tax bills, I do not find tax increases that are correlated with assessment increases. Rather, changes in taxes owed are reflective of municipal budgets and spending, which you guys have echoed, and I'm kind of just reiterating. Moreover, the entire assessment office truly cares about the Vestal town residents, especially as it relates to fair and equitable assessment. And that's also been echoed a little bit here as well. From a professional perspective, I'm a state certified assessor of 14 years. I believe I'm qualified to comment on the credentials of Mr. Manoia and his staff. Mr. Manoia, with over 40 years of experience as a New York State general commercial appraiser and nearly 30 years as a New York State certified assessor, is the most knowledgeable assessor in central New York that I'm aware of. Deputy Assessor Colleen Zub, 34 years of assessment experience, and she also carries a New York State Certified Residential Appraiser's license. And she has actually completed all the coursework to be appointed as a New York State Certified Assessor, which is a great accomplishment and rare to find two people in one office with all those credentials. One way that their value is illustrated is that a number of assessors, both new and experienced, call on them for advice on complex assessment problems, and they're always available and they're always helpful. They're a resource for the assessment community. Additionally, their vast knowledge and experience has allowed them to maintain full assessment in Vestal for 17 years. Would you give me the grace for another paragraph? As a result, they've been awarded excellence and equity by New York State. And, that's actually considered, a great achievement and a gold standard, in my opinion. And I think that would be in the assessment community. The time and effort to maintain this standard should be applauded and rewarded. And, a lot of times, as we said, it's a difficult job and their work gets diminished and criticized. And oftentimes that's not a fair judgment. So I recognize that all New York State certified assessor positions are due for a reappointment October 1st. Typically, an assessor with Mr. Manoia's qualifications, experience, and tenure would be coveted and considered a valuable asset in the community by the town board. Most towns would wisely reappoint him early to avoid any chance that he be recruited by another town. Considering Mr. Manoia's credentials and the assessment team he has built for our town, I strongly encourage the board to meet with Mr. Manoia and Mrs. Zub to secure their reappointment for this October 1st coming. And thank you for extending my time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, would anybody else like to speak? Okay, thank you to everybody who came today. Thank you to everybody who's emailed us, and we do appreciate everybody having input. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Did you want to speak?
John Farrell. I've lived in the Vestal School District for 45 years. I live in 101 Red Fox Run. I've been selling real estate in the town of Vestal for 41 years. And I think that the board mandate perhaps would be well served if they served as cheerleaders for the town rather than criticizing. And I would suggest that you put another Facebook in saying untethering the 100% assessment with any criticism of Mark. I think I echo Joe Cook's valuation completely. Put something in Facebook and say, you ought to be glad all the houses I've sold, I never saw anybody go, John, what could I do to lower the value of my house? None of the people in Vestal want their houses apparently lowered. So we ought to celebrate the fact that Vestal has the most highest per square foot sale typically and most desirable housing now. The buyers don't like that, but the sellers certainly do. So I just speak to those issues.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate your taking the time today. And thank you to those at home for emailing us. And do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded? Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. We're good. A fire meeting? Uh. Oh. I see.
Not you.
Yeah, I'll catch that.
Let's see if I can find it.
I know where you're. Oh, I know where you're. And I was right, it was one of the main. Comes to my backyard, right, and I have no. And I know sidewalk. Right, I've been. The guy who spoke about. What? Years.